All right. Hey, Vikings fans, welcome into another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And the Vikings offseason just started off with a bang.
Yeah, lots of moves coming out of Minnesota. Redmond, Hawkinson, so many more.
Yeah, we also, I think we're going to lie to each other again a little bit.
Yeah, we had some fun with the line game. I felt like I was a little bit stronger this time around.
You may have won, but time will tell. And then this SingleSpeed beer was great. Maybe a little fuzzy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, wherever you are and whatever you're into, grab a cold one. Join us for episode 129 of the Skol Hop.
Skol.
All right, we're going to give a quick shout out to That's Badass Wood Art. They made this piece right here if you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify video. It's a little Skol piece. It says Skol with the cutout of the state of Minnesota and the letter O. Mm-hmm. It's pretty small. I don't know. It's about a foot wide and several inches tall. Nice little piece to hang on your wall in the man cave. But they do so much more than just this.
Yeah.
And if you go to their website, that'sbadasswoodart.com, you can see all sorts of different things that they've made, and you can order any of their kind of normal pieces that they regularly make. Some of them are sports related, some of them are pop culture related, but they'll also do a custom piece for you. We've got a custom piece in the works right now. We're getting this Skol Hop logo emblemized in wood in 3D. We're pretty excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's on its way pretty soon. But we wanted you to know that if you want your own piece of wood art from That's Badass Wood Art, you can go to their website and make sure you type in our code, SKOLHOP, Skol Hop, all one word, and you can get 10% off any and all orders. So make sure you do that and add to your man cave with some good wood art.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Can't wait to get our piece. It's going to be the focal point of our Skullman Center here. So, yeah, thanks. That's Badass Wood Art.
All right. We need to get into this beer here. This beer has been staring me in the face for a while.
I'm getting a little fuzzy just looking at it there.
I think you said that because it's called Fruit Fuzzies. This is from SingleSpeed Brewing out of Waterloo, Iowa.
We love a good SingleSpeed beer.
We love good SingleSpeed. We went there on the Brew Hop 2.0 with Forrest. Mm-hmm. Good place. Also brings back some good memories from our college days. It is an Imperial IPA. Mm-hmm. 8.6%.
It's no joke. You also just scared me because I have opened my can and you like kind of swung your can around there.
I did tilt it a little bit.
Well, in my brain, I was like, no, you just opened that. But
I didn't open it.
No, you didn't open it yet.
I will read the description really quick while you pour yours up. It says, warm fuzzies. We all love them. Fruit Fuzzies, prepare to love it too. Featuring notes of citrus, berry, and stone fruit, this Imperial IPA has been crafted to lift you up, just like a warm fuzzy would. So I get warm fuzzies when we do the podcast together.
Yeah. Aw.
So, yeah.
So I opened mine a solid minute or two before you did. Listeners probably heard it on the podcast there. And about 2 seconds after I opened it, I was hit with a wave.
It's fruity
of like citrusy haze. Just the aroma there.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome. I'm a little intimidated by this one right now. It's Monday night, work night, school night. And I don't know if you read it already, but you've given us an 8.6%er there.
I did say that a little bit ago. But, we're only going to have two of them.
Yeah, and we're grown men,
we're fine.
We can handle it. Yeah. I would not advise having more than two and then driving home. And who knows, maybe if you're a little lighter than me, which I'm not doing too bad in the weight category if I do say so myself. I can throw a few back. But if you're not 250 pounds, maybe don't have 2 of these and then drive home. But I think I'll be all right tonight.
Well, let me finish pouring this here. It's been a slow burn.
Well, and the aroma is really just causing us to want to have a hard pour and really get
so aromatic. Yeah, it's great. All right, let's do it.
All right, Skol.
Skol. I got mostly foam on that first sip, but it was good.
Yeah.
It tasted great.
I did get down to the liquid. That is for sure an Imperial IPA. There's no question about it. They definitely have a boozy aspect to them. Do I still have the foam?
No, you're good. Okay. You're clean.
It's really good, though. That's hazy. It is citrusy. It is an 8.6%er.
It definitely has that boozy aspect to it, but the fruity aroma kind of takes over, honestly. Like it's kind of masking the booziness a little bit.
Yep. And I'm really liking this. It says the hops they're using are cashmere, lotus, and talus. Did you already read all that while I did was not. Being hit by the aroma?
I did not.
Just a good, solid Imperial IPA. Just if you know anything about SingleSpeed, you know that they're never going to put out questionable beers. And this is another great beer on the long list of great beers that they put out.
Yeah, so thanks, SingleSpeed. All right, we're going to play another game. We're going to play a game that we played not too long ago.
Yeah.
Two episodes ago, I think.
Something like that, yeah. It's been, our schedule's been a little off. We've had life happen a little bit, and then we tried to record an episode, a few days ago, and I apparently was underwater, because that's what the audio sounded like. But, yeah, we're here now. So
we are here.
What game are we going to play, Ev? As you take a sip,
I took a sip right as you said that. We're going to play the line game again. So I'm gonna get our divider right here. We'll get this set up and then we'll play.
Here we go. All right. I think I need to move my computer so that the viewers can actually see the item that I have.
Okay. So I'm gonna do my best to balance this here. So if you're watching us, you can see that we have put a divider up, and it's a piece of art from my wall.
But it works. It worked really well last time.
And I'm just going to adjust it here just ever so slightly so it looks good on camera and also conceals everything that we're concealing.
Conceal, don't feel.
And we want to make sure that it doesn't just like spontaneously fall over.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good. It looks
we do need to turn the TV off, though. Our monitor and the remote is over there.
The remote is there. I will go grab that.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're all set up now. This was probably super fun to listen to. Evan and I think we're both ready to grab our items here.
Yep, I'm going to grab my first one under the desk here. And like we did last time, we will draw out of a cup to determine if we have to tell a lie or if we have to tell the truth. So we are not deciding whether we lie or tell the truth.
Yeah.
The cup decides, or whatever we draw out of the cup. Okay? So let me get the cup here. I'll mix these up real good. This is a Skol hot mug. I believe you can buy one on TeePublic if you want. I believe,
yeah. And that's not just the only style there are.
That's true. We've got shirts. We've got all sorts of merch. But here's the mug. Go ahead and pick out your slip. Show it to the audience. Let me know when you're ready to go here.
I did notice last time. I don't know if the audience could see. All right.
We'll zoom in if we have to. All right. I got mine. There it is. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
How about you start? I think I started last time.
Okay. I have over here on my side, as I move some things out of the way, I have a bag of potatoes.
A bag of potatoes. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
That's what I have.
And I have a lighter.
A lighter?
Yes, I have a lighter.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, now that we've revealed what we have, and we revealed if we are telling the truth or a lie, Let's go ahead and ask each other some questions about our item, or have each other do something with our item to get some more clues. So why don't you go first?
All right, Ev, what brand is that bag of potatoes?
These are Idaho potatoes.
Interesting. That's the brand name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Can you flick the lighter on for me?
Oh, are you sure? That's a little dangerous.
Yeah, I like to live dangerously.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm. Can you do it one more time? Is there an actual flame?
I mean, for a second, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just don't want, an open flame here in your basement.
All right, that's fair. I appreciate
Yeah.
safety. Okay, your turn.
Evan, are they all like about the same size potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
and I'm just gonna sneak in another question. Are they like regular size potatoes, or like what size potatoes are they?
They're like between the mini, like little potatoes, and the big size potatoes. They're
Okay.
like medium sized potatoes.
All right, okay.
Can you just tap the lighter on the desk for me? Okay.
Yep.
Not super helpful, but
Yeah, I mean,
great.
I don't know how it would be. All right, the potatoes, are they different colors? What colors are they?
They're brown.
Okay. Just regular brown.
Just regular old brown potatoes.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. Can you, for the camera, not for me, of course, but can you hold your finger over the lighter and flick it?
What? Like, burn myself?
I mean, get as close as you can without hurting yourself.
All right.
I feel like this will be entertaining.
You ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, all right. All right. All right.
This is last round.
Okay.
Last round here.
Hey, Evan.
Yep.
Go ahead and take a bite out of one of those potatoes.
Well, the bag is enclosed. Do you want me to open the bag?
I mean, I feel like it's not that terrible of an ask to have you.
You're gonna have to it's one of those net bags where you've got to
I don't know if
need
it sounds
scissors or something.
I don't know if it's here. I have a knife.
Oh yeah. All right, give me your knife. I'll open the bag. It's fine.
All right, the knife is open.
Got it. Thank you. Here's the knife. We'll open this up. Okay. I don't know how to retract your knife, so I'm going to return it to you not sharp point out.
There we go.
And all right. Yeah. All right.
How does that taste there?
It's like a potato. It's pretty bland. I'd like some salt and butter on it or something. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make you take a bite of it. Since I had you take what did I have you take a bite of? The cereal, the money that you said was cereal last
The bag
time?
of change that's literally sitting over there still. All right. What do you think? Am I telling the truth or am I telling a lie?
I think you're telling the truth, Ev. I think
Okay.
you've actually got some potatoes over there.
All right. I think you're telling a lie.
Ooh.
I don't think you have a lighter.
Why is that?
I think you have a pen.
A pen?
Yeah, I think you have a pen and you've been flicking the little, Do you
want me to light it again?
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yeah. No, that's not a lighter. It's too quiet.
It's a nice lighter.
Okay. I think.
All right. If you don't,
I think I know what lighter it might be, but
Okay.
All right. Should we reveal?
Let's reveal. Evan, you go first.
I do not have a bag of potatoes. I have a bag of oranges. But I think I sold it pretty well.
You did. And I thought it sounded too plasticky to be potatoes.
Okay.
I have a flashlight.
Okay. Well, it's kind of a lighter.
Well, and I had to hold it because if it had gone, you probably would have picked up the double click.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, I did pick up that you were lying, so
All right.
I was correct.
Yep, and I was wrong. So you're winning so far.
All right. Item number 2. Do we want to get that out?
Yeah.
All right. Mine's in the drawer here.
All right, I will grab mine and not pay attention to you.
All right, I have mine. You got yours?
I do.
Okay. We got to draw.
Yeah.
Truth or a lie here. We'll mix these up. Okay. Here you go. Round 2 of truth or a lie.
All right.
Or the lying game as it's known. All right, audience, here is what I have. There you go. Did you show the audience what you have?
I did, yep.
Okay.
All right, you went first last time. I'll go first this time. Evan, I have a guitar capo.
A guitar capo. Okay.
Yep.
That would make sense because I told you to pick anything from this room.
Yeah.
And this is my room. This is like my office.
Yeah.
And I play the guitar and I have some capos in here. So that would make sense.
Man, do you even have a lighter in your room?
I think I do have a lighter in here somewhere.
All right.
I do.
Okay.
I don't know where it would be exactly, but...
All right. We'll let your kids find that later. I don't know.
Or they can find the bottle of Malort.
Oh, man. Well, at least they wouldn't like that. So, all right, Evan, what do you have?
Okay. I have a giraffe.
Oh, okay. like a okay. All right. Evan, it's like a stuffed animal?
I wouldn't say that, no.
Okay.
If you say you have a capo, is it a spring-loaded capo or is it one of the manual ones? Because I have both.
Yeah, it's the manual one.
It's the manual one?
The nicer one.
Okay.
I think they're nicer.
Okay. All right. Go ahead with another question for
All
Doug.
right. Can you tap the giraffe on the table a couple of times?
Sure. Here, I'm going to move this Viking helmet, our Skol Hop helmet here, and do it on the edge of the desk so people can see it.
Okay. Man.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Can you tell me the brand name of the capo that you have?
This one does not have a brand name printed on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that manual one does have a brand name on it.
And then I need you to think and really think if there's a chance that you have multiple capos in this room down here.
I have multiple capos.
Okay,
I have
right.
one manual one that's not spring loaded.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate to tell you, there's no brand name on this one.
It's on there. It's engraved on one piece of it. Have you thoroughly examined it?
Yeah, got nothing. Maybe you're thinking of a different one that I'm holding.
I might have just caught you in a lie there. I don't know. We'll see. All right, go ahead and ask me a question.
All right, Evan, about how big is this giraffe?
It's like, I don't know, I can hold it in my hand. It's actually something that Raven and I got when we went to Kenya.
Oh, that tracks. Yeah. I guess if
And
you're going to lie about something, that would...
We saw actual giraffes in person. We went on a safari. So I've seen a giraffe in person. It's
nice.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you... I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to hear anything. But can you, close the capo and open the capo a couple of times so I can hear how that works?
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, you can't really hear anything, but I did.
Okay. All right. Last round of questioning here.
All right. Is it like a realistic little figurine of a giraffe?
Yeah. Yeah, they're made of, I think it's marble or some sort of stone. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Can you just tap the capo on the desk? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
That's super helpful. All right. I think you're lying.
Oh, why would you think I'm lying, Ev?
Well, I can just tell by your voice.
All right. And I think you're telling the truth.
Oh, okay. All right. You ready to reveal?
Yep.
Okay.
I am lying. I'm not holding a capo. I'm holding a little guitar man figurine.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think my parents got me that.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm lying as well.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, you said giraffe. It's an elephant. All right. All right.
It's not a giraffe. It's an elephant.
Okay.
So I watched some more of those Lion Game videos that I sent you when we first had the idea for this game. And one of the guys that was on there, like, manipulated the game in that way. And he inspired me. And I was like, all right, well, shoot, I guess if we're going to go that, I'll just take this object and throw you off the scent a little bit. And that's what I did. So I do have a manual capo somewhere in here. It does have a brand name on it. It's a Shubb, SHUBB. It's a Shubb capo. You got to do your research.
Yeah, well, I saw the capo sitting there, and I'm like, oh, well, I could grab this little figurine guy and then say it's a capo. And
it is a cool, like, this is a cool little figurine. It's made out of, like, bolts and washers and nails and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's just playing the guitar. I like him. My elephant is also kind of cool, but not as cool as that, I guess.
Yeah, you got me, though. You win. I also lied. The first time it told me that I had to tell the truth, but I really wanted to say that I had a lighter, so...
I'm pretty sure I have a lighter in here somewhere. I don't know where. Those of you that didn't know, and I don't think we said this before we played the game, but you didn't come prepared with items this time.
Yeah.
I just let you loose in this room, and I left for a couple of minutes and let you pick a couple of items. And I went upstairs, and I picked a couple of items. So
it worked. It was fun.
Yeah.
You know what else is fun, Ev?
This is technically a lighter.
I could have said torch.
Yeah, and then it would have been like,
It also doesn't work.
Yeah, the batteries. Well, you know why this doesn't work? It's because my kids turn it on and do all sorts of stupid stuff with it, and then they leave it on, and then the batteries die. So it has batteries in it, I can guarantee you. But kids, man, they don't know how to turn stuff off.
All right. Well, at the risk of having you start sounding like your father.
I've already done that once tonight.
Yeah, you did. We should start talking about the Vikings. People came for the Vikings, and we're 20 minutes in.
Let's do that.
Here we go. All right, so free agency kind of started today. We're recording Monday the 9th, and at like 11 o'clock Central Time, the legal tampering period started, and it started off with a bang. Tons of things happened around the league. Tua Tagovailoa is going to the Falcons. Suddenly, as I'm about to start saying all these moves, my mind is blank and I can't remember really anything. There's been a few trades. I know the Packers traded Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. There's just been a ton of things happening, and the Vikings have made a few moves as well. Really just one signing. They signed a 29-year-old cornerback from the Pittsburgh Steelers, James Pierre. Early in the day, friend of the show, Brevin Bain, had tweeted, and I don't think he had like inside knowledge or steam, but it was a good argument as for why the Vikings should sign Pierre, and that was hours before anything was announced and anybody really knew. I think it was just him recognizing that guy might be available and he could be cheap. 2 years, I think $8.5 million. Not a bad signing. Apparently he's a good PF, Pro Football Focus numbers guy, so that should be good in a room that needs a lot of help.
Yeah, and let's focus in on the Vikings specifically. You already talked about James Pierre, but there have been some cuts and some signings, free agent signings, Vikings departing. So let's talk about the departing Vikings first. Who's leaving?
Yep.
And then we'll talk about the Vikings that are staying and have been restructured, and then we can maybe end by talking about who we hope the Vikings bring in, or who's kind of projected to come in. But a lot of cuts in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Running back Aaron Jones, he was a shocker for a lot of people, I think, in some ways, but also made a lot of sense. He's getting older. We saw his production dip a little bit this year. He's been injured. And you've notoriously said on this podcast since its inception that you don't pay running backs. So Aaron Jones, as great as he was, as solid of a locker room presence as he was, he's gone. I don't think Hargrave or Allen have gone anywhere yet.
Correct. Yeah, there's no...
But they are essentially gone. Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, which is kind of frustrating if you're a Vikings fan to think about the fact that they spent all this money to bolster the defensive line, and we got all excited about it, and we are like, yeah, Harrison Phillips might be gone, but man, we got these two studs in the middle now. And it's just like,
that didn't work
all right,
out.
It sucked in the season. They didn't really play that well, and I'm not trying to like crap on these guys individually. Like, I think they're good guys, good players, but they didn't produce the results. And I've heard that Brian Flores' defense is hard for that defensive tackle position to really adapt to. So
there was the one tweet where somebody basically said, "Hey, if you're a defensive tackle, you're not going to really get to the quarterback. You're not going to get many opportunities to get to the quarterback in the Brian Flores
because he's gonna come on the outside, not up the middle."
And Javon Hargrave like retweeted that, which apparently people are like, "Oh, he totally agrees with that," and yeah, maybe he's pretty mad that he got let go. But then the rebuttal immediately is, what about Jalen Redmond? I think he had 6.5 sacks just this year.
Yep.
Almost a no-name guy before really last year he started coming on strong too. But yeah, I agree with you. Hargrave and Allen, they seemed like they were, before free agency last year, Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell both were like, yeah, we need to bolster the interior line on the offense and defense. And they made 2 big moves in free agency on O-line, and then 2 big moves on D-line with Hargrave and Allen, and then offense was Fries and Ryan Kelly. And then really the only one that kind of worked out was Fries out of the 4 of those guys, because Hargrave and Allen, I mean, they did okay, but not worth the mega money that they got.
And now Ryan Kelly has announced his retirement.
Yep.
So it just seems like, and maybe we're starting to get down to that Kwesi was the problem. Maybe it was a GM issue more than anything else. And this last season was really the blame should be pinned on him more than anybody else.
Now, there is a caveat to that, because just today, like 4 or 5 former Kwesi draft picks got pretty big money. You got Ed Ingram re-signed with the Texans for something like 3 years, $30-ish million. Ryan Wright signed for like 4 years, $14 million. There's another couple of guys that had been drafted. Vidarian Lowe got a couple year contract. So former Kwesi draft picks, not all of them, 4 out of 4 drafts now have gotten re-signed by other teams. But an interesting caveat to that too.
Yeah. So we've got a handful of Vikings that are just gone and essentially could be picked up by any team. They're not gone yet. I think they're all going to be cut when the new league year starts on Wednesday. So they could really sign anywhere once that new league year starts in a couple of days. So by the next time we talk, those 4 guys could be, I guess 3 guys, because Ryan Kelly retired. But
correct, yeah. Oh, shoot. By the next time we talk, there's going to be so many more things, hopefully, that have happened.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to all that.
But you mentioned Ryan Wright signed for 4 years with the Saints for $14 million. Jalen Naylor was another big one. And this one kind of came out late this afternoon, early this evening, and I didn't even really realize it until I was sitting at home on the couch. And he got paid. Like, he's going to get paid quite a bit to go to the Raiders for 3 years, $35 million. That's a big contract for a wide receiver 3 who could probably be a wide receiver 2 in a lot of other places, including Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah, well, and I think Dustin Baker, friend of the show, Dustin, tweeted at some point earlier today that basically as things sit right this moment for the Raiders roster, Jalen Naylor is their wide receiver 1.
Oh, really?
Like they may draft and sign other guys between now and maybe they already have since he tweeted that. But so that may look a little bit differently by the time the season starts. But yeah, I mean he currently is their WR1. And he has shown flashes of being okay. I think he's got one 100-yard receiving game. He's definitely had a few games throughout his Vikings career that were like, all right, this guy's, he made a really good catch, or he's pretty consistent here. Or, he's also had times where it's like, oh man, if he would have caught that touchdown pass, the Vikings might have won today. Or, that wouldn't have been an interception if he didn't let it bounce off his hands, stuff like that. But he's had kind of ups and downs, but more recently he was mostly up. And I wish nothing but the best for him. I would have probably been kind of upset if the Vikings had signed him to that same contract, essentially $11-12 million a year. But that's only because you're already paying Justin Jefferson something like $35-40 a year. Jordan Addison, no matter if the Vikings are the one to pay him, he's going to be up for a new contract here in the next season or so. And both Addison and Jefferson are obviously higher on the depth chart and better and higher priorities to allocate money to than Jalen Naylor. But I think he'll do good in Vegas. And yeah, no ill will, and just happy for the dude to get paid.
Yeah, Trey Tucker was the Raiders' leading receiver this last year, started all 17 games, had almost 700 yards, 696 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So wow, okay. he was okay, but he's kind of a no-name. Like I didn't know who Trey Tucker was until looking him up. They do have Tyler Lockett on the roster, but he's getting older, of course. He's kind of entering Adam Thielen territory.
Yeah, I kind of forgot he existed.
But anyways, yeah, you might be right, and Dustin might be right that Jalen Naylor is the proverbial number one going into Vegas for the 26 season.
Yeah, which would be sit right now.
That would be interesting to make the jump from a true wide receiver 3 behind Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to now making the jump to wide receiver 1. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings have made it clear that they're willing to trade Jonathan Grenard.
Yeah, it certainly seems like if you scroll Twitter, and
it seems pretty likely that he's a goner. And truth be told, it would free up a lot of cap space. I would like to point out, and I think I said this a while back, I'm okay moving on from Grenard because Dallas Turner has developed so nicely. Mm-hmm. And I think that's maybe why Jonathan Grenard has emerged as a trade candidate. I think there's some return that the Vikings can get for Jonathan Grenard if they put him out in the open market, which would help them.
Yeah.
And they're not going to lack a lot of production, especially with Brian Flores sticking around and Dallas Turner developing the way he did. I don't see any reason why we need to keep both of those guys. And if you take the younger one who's still a little bit moldable and, you can really, kind of push him the way that you want to go as a coach, I don't see why you don't go with the younger guy. Not to say that Jonathan Grenard is a bad player. There are some people out there that are saying Jonathan Grenard was the second best player on the Vikings roster this last year behind Justin Jefferson, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But that comes at a price, and the Vikings are so cap focused right now that they got to get under this particular number. He'd be a good one to move on from and, get out from underneath the cap burden that he comes with, and know that you don't have to really sacrifice a whole lot of production on the field by letting him walk.
Yeah. So. Yeah, theoretically, I think it is time for Dallas Turner to step up. I think no matter what, even if, Grenard's still on the roster, Dallas Turner has definitely proven that he's worth more playing time, and you can only put 11 guys on the field at a time. So, if you're going to justifiably give Dallas Turner more playing time, then you're going to have to take off Jonathan Grenard or Andrew Van Ginkel or safety to add another linebacker in there. And you got to take off other good players. So, and that's assuming everyone's healthy and Turner's not playing for, an injured guy, which happened this year. But yeah, I think I think it would only make sense if the Vikings could get a decent haul. I would think Grenard is worth a second-round pick plus something else. Maybe that plus is a 6th or a 5th or a player or something like that. I would think Grenard is worth number 2 and somebody else or something else. So if they were able to get that, I'd be okay with it. And honestly, for me right now, I'm not cashing the checks. So if they kept Jonathan Grenard, it's not like I'd be upset about that either. Like, he's a Pro Bowl, a legit, an actual worthy of a Pro Bowl nod, Pro Bowl level player, and it can only help to have a pass rusher that is really good like that. So we'll see how that works out. Scrolling Twitter, there's some people that seem to be like almost reporting that the Vikings have, more than just flirtatious conversations with other teams about Grenard, but as of now, nothing official and nothing really even more than enough that we're going to say like, oh yeah, I saw this person said that and I really trust them. So we'll see what happens there.
And to be fair, just to kind of wrap up the Jonathan Grenard thing, like, I'm pro Jonathan Grenard.
Yeah, I think we all are.
I want the guy back if we can. I don't know if they restructure him or what, but if there's a way to get him back, let's get him back. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be jealous for Gink and Grenard and Dallas Turner all just terrorizing these opposing quarterbacks coming off the edge. Like, that just sounds awesome from a defensive game planning standpoint.
Yeah.
Brian Flores would like be licking his chops and just be like, it doesn't matter what down it is. It doesn't matter who's tired and who's not. Like, I got a whole army of guys behind me that I can put out there. But again, I get it from the business side of things. You can't keep everybody. You can't have your cake and eat it too in the NFL, and you kind of have to pick and choose. And again, like I said, I would stand pat on the younger guy who's rising over the older guy who's pretty expensive and still really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let the money go and put faith in your young guy. That's what I would say.
Another player that has been restructured and seemingly is coming back, even though it seems like a lot of Vikings fans are not happy about this, but TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
He signed a new deal.
The logo.
The logo. I'm just going to pull up really quick what his new deal is worth. So before he signed this new deal, I think he had 2 years left, 2026 and 2027, at a very high cap number. And it was signed before his cheap shot injury against the cheating Lions. And he just hasn't been playing up to that contract. So people are saying like, hey, they can cut him and take a lot of dead money, but free up some cap space right now. And then some people are like, get him off the team. Like, we hate this guy now, which I don't understand. I'm a TJ Hawkinson fan. I'm biased. I'm really glad that he's sticking around, at least for this year. And you never know. Never say never on anything. If Hawkinson were to come out in 2026 and be back to normal form, I think he's 28 right now. In that situation, he'd be 29. He's entering the final year of his deal now, because with this restructure, they cut out, I think, about $5 million of salary, and they totally ripped up the last year. So he's only got 1 year on his deal now. But he's poised to show that he's healthy again this year and that he can get back to that all-pro form. And then nothing is saying that the Vikings can't sign him to a longer deal after this year if they want to, or if he's ready to move on, then that happens all the time in the league. Plenty of guys today were signed to new teams and they were just ready to move on. So no matter what, I'm happy TJ Hawkinson is back. Evan, how do you feel about that move?
I've got mixed feelings. I'm glad that they restructured his deal to make it a little bit more team friendly, and I think he was humble enough to see that as well. Like, hey, I get it. I haven't been the same since my injury, and that's not an excuse, but it's just the reality of the situation. And so I'm grateful for both of those things. I'm excited to see him back in purple. I think he's a Viking through and through. And I think I've said this before. And if I haven't, I'll say it so it's on the record. I think TJ Hawkinson will go down as a Viking. I think he will be remembered as a Viking. I think when his career is all said and done, his years with the Lions will mostly be forgotten, and he will be remembered for wearing purple more than blue. I still think he's got a shot at being maybe like a Ring of Honor candidate.
Could be.
He'd have to do a lot in the later part of his career. And obviously that injury set him back. But he's a good player. He's a good guy. He's not one that you really have to worry about, like, oh, he's pulling some Dennis Rodman, Jordan Addison type of stuff. Where is he? Why isn't he here? What's he up to? Oh, he's, man.
Yeah, he's in Vegas,
He's an Iowa guy. He went to Iowa. He grew up in Iowa, went to an Iowa high school. So like we've got that connection too, which is cool. So I'm definitely rooting for the guy. I'm not rooting against him at all. And I definitely want to see him as a Viking, but I don't know. I just think like, again, when this is a business and it's all about production on the field compared to the dollars we're paying these players, right? It's the cost benefit analysis that you have to do. Lately, the benefit has been low and the cost has been high. So he's one that I could see moving on from pretty quickly. So again, I'm glad they restructured his deal. I think it sets the team and the player up really well going into next season, right? Like there's really no harm, no foul going into next year. It's just like, well, all right, it's been great. Right? If he plays bad this year, that's what it's going to be like. Well, thanks. Best of luck. But if he plays great, we're sitting here a year from now going like, all right, what do we got to do to get TJ for 5 more years? Like, let's get him through his NFL career for the most part. And let's, see what he can do from there. And I don't know. We could be having a very different conversation than this a year from now. I think it'll be one way or the other, though. I don't think it's going to be this wishy-washy, like, well, I don't know. I think it's going to be, yep, he's done, or, yep, let's lock him in for the rest of his career on basically a career contract.
Yeah. I think you're right. At the end of the 26-27 season, we will I just get this feeling that we won't have any question about whether fans will want him back or whether they'll be ready for him to move on. Sometimes I would venture to say most fans' attitude about Jalen Naylor right now was like, like it's fine if he moves on. Like it's okay. I think we'll have a similar knowledge of what we want for TJ Hawkinson at the end of this season. It'll be, he came back for one more year and he didn't do anything, so it's time to move on, and it's an easy cutoff. Or it'll be like, crap, they need to figure out how to keep this guy because he just had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. It'll be either or, and I agree with you on that. Yeah.
So again, I come back to like, TJ Hawkinson, great guy, great player. Do I want him back? Sure. This year will be a kind of a prove it year. And if he proves it, great. Let's sign him for the rest of his career. And if not, I'm okay moving on from him. No harm, no foul, no hard feelings. Best of luck. That's kind of where I'm at. He's kind of mid when it comes to current tight ends right now, and I don't say that lightly. Like current tight ends, active tight ends, you have Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, George Kittle, Mark Andrews. Like you've got some big names in the top upper echelon. I'm just going off a Pro Football Reference and their AV.
Okay.
Hunter Henry, Mercedes Lewis, Evan Ingram, Dallas Goedert.
I mean, that's just in their careers up to this point, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Austin Hooper, Tyler Higbee, TJ Hawkinson, right? Like I think I named, I don't know, roughly 10 names, 8, 9, 10 names before TJ. Like He's comfortably mid, and he's on the high end of that middle category. He's not a low end tight end. He's not like bottom of the barrel, right? But he's not at the top of the list either. So again, it's kind of like, it's one of those things where if you're the GM or if you're the coach, what are you going to fight for? And where are you going to put your money? Are you going to put your money in a flashy tight end who might get you some stats, or are you going to put your money elsewhere where you might get a little more bang for your buck? And I don't know. I think, again, this year, great. We've got another year to kind of figure it out with TJ, but we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And could be a very interesting conversation this time next year.
I'm looking forward to him. Time will tell. Other guys that were restructured or, extended or have new deals, the three guys that were exclusive rights free agents. So those were the ones that basically they're 3 years in the league or less with an expiring contract. These three guys, the Vikings, all they had to do was say, "Yep, we want you again," and then they're locked into a 1 year minimum deal for 2026. Bo Richter, Jalen Redmond, and Xavier Scott. And the Vikings decided they wanted to keep all three of them. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're guaranteed to make the team no matter what. Even if their contracts are guaranteed, which I don't know enough about that to know if their tendered contracts are guaranteed. But even so, they're all $1 million contracts, like maybe 1.3, something like that. A lower end contract as far as veterans go in the NFL. But maybe the biggest and most important Vikings free agent, Jalen Redmond, defensive lineman Jalen Redmond, that will be a conversation. And maybe this is a guy that they could decide anytime. Like, we could get a notification on our phone anytime, like, hey, yeah, they tendered him, or I don't know if tender is the right verbiage, but they signed him again for 2026. But we could get notification anytime that, hey, they gave him a big deal, because they're all eligible for contract extensions and raises and stuff. So I wouldn't be shocked if at some point they go to Jalen Redmond and said, hey, we did we tendered you, we signed you for the 1 year thing, but we also want you around for a while. It'd be smart to do because they just got rid of the two big money defensive linemen that they signed this time last year. And Jalen Redmond was the only one that kind of proved himself, and I think he's worthy of it. So, plus the sooner you do something like that, the sooner they would decide to renegotiate with him, the cheaper he's going to be. He's only going to get more expensive. At least on the trajectory he's been in his NFL career. He's just kept getting better and better with the minimum opportunities he's had. So
can I just share a stat with you that I just uncovered that blows my mind?
All right, what is it? About
Jalen Redmond. So two things. First of all, if you go to Pro Football Reference, we reference Pro Football Reference quite a bit.
Pretty much every episode.
AV, average value, is... It's basic or approximate value. Sorry, I had to look at it. It's their attempt. It's Pro Football Reference's way of attaching a single number to each player. And it's just basically how valuable are they to their team. So this first number blew my mind. Jalen Redmond has been a Viking for 2 years now. His AV last year in 2024 was 2.
Okay.
He made a jump of 8.
Oh, wow.
To 10.
Yeah.
His AV was 10. Guess who else had an AV of 10 this last season, 2025?
I'm cheating.
Justin Jefferson had an AV of 10.
Well, I was going to say, if you know anything about that AV score, which ultimately is arbitrary.
It is arbitrary, for sure.
Pro Football Reference puts some formula into that, so it's not nothing. It's not just some dude sitting there saying, "I think that player's good, so give him a 20."
And I'm not trying to equate Jalen Redmond quite to Justin Jefferson yet, but I think that just goes to show the dude made a jump from 2 to 10 in one season. He's been in the league for 2 years, and he's already made that jump, and he's according to their formula, just as valuable to the Vikings team
At least in 2025.
At least in 2025. Just as valuable as Justin Jefferson was. And we know Justin Jefferson had a down year. It wasn't great. But Justin Jefferson's highest AV in his career was in 2022 when he got a 15 AV.
Yeah. And
so
he was the offensive player of the year that year.
He was, he won all sorts of awards.
Yeah,
that year.
he played at an MVP level, and had he been a quarterback playing a similar level, it would have been MVP. Jalen Redmond, absolutely. If he continues to play at the trajectory he is right now, this time next year we will be talking about how we really hope the Vikings back up the Brink truck, because they're going to have to. I can't even imagine what DT1 in the NFL's salary is going to be next year, but it's probably like the highest paid defensive tackle in the league a year from now is probably going to have a average annual value of like 30 to 40 million a year. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be Jalen Redmond, but he's going to be in the upper echelon of that. And that's why I say the sooner they get him locked into a long-term contract, the cheaper it'll be. And again, I'm the one that's always saying, these players should advocate for every dollar. But also I'm a fan of my favorite team, and I want the best players on my favorite team.
And you have to work within the constraints that you're given, and that's what GMs and coaches have to do. And if the salary cap is a constraint, you got to figure out how to make that work, right? And I disagree with you. I think that the cap is a myth. Like,
well, it is, but ultimately you got to pay. Every dollar has to hit the cap sometime.
I'm a rule follower. So if you tell me I have 300 million, whatever the number is now, I don't even know what it is. If you tell me I have 300 million, I'm going to take that very literally, and I'm going to like follow that to a T. And I don't necessarily follow all of the like, okay, well, we're going to push this money to this year, and we're going to have this void year here, and like that just like confuses the crap out of me, and I don't really understand all of it. But
after we're done recording with a piece of paper and a pen, I think I can get you at least to the level that I understand it, which again, I'm not an expert, but I think I've got a decent grasp.
I think should we just do this now? I have a paper and a pen.
I feel like you need the visual, and I don't know if the visual is going to make it onto the podcast.
We can put it on the podcast. I'll put it on there. I'll put it on the video.
How about this? We record the episode, and then when we're all done, then we record the like 5 minutes of me explaining this to you.
Okay.
And then we can decide if we want to splice it in right here. All right. Well, either you just heard me explaining the salary cap to Evan for the last 5 minutes, or you just heard us laugh and giggle for 2 seconds. Which again is up to you, Ev. Even if what I record for you,
I do have
good.
All the power. Like I
you
edit all the content. That's my job.
You do it so well. On-air production, Evan, I appreciate you for all of the
humbled.
Editing you do for this show. You do a great job.
I'm humbled.
But yeah, Jalen Redmond, every Vikings fan should be jumping for joy that we have this guy for at least the 2026 season. And hopefully, whether it's Rob Brzezinski or whoever the GM is after this weird middle period, hopefully the decision makers at Bay do right by Jalen Redmond and lock him up for a while.
Couple other players we haven't talked about. Eric Wilson re-signed. 3 years, $22.5 million. That's pretty exciting. He really emerged as that linebacker that we needed. And I don't know. For me, I think Ivan Pace is still very much a Viking and very much a like, yeah, I'm behind that guy. Mm-hmm. But he saw a little bit of a dip this season. And
he got benched. He lost his starting job just outright.
Yep, and that's okay. But I still have faith in the guy. I think he's still a good player, and I hope to see some more production out of him.
Well, and importantly, Ivan Pace, he was... I can't remember if I said this earlier when we were still recording or if this was something we talked about pre-recording, but Ivan Pace was tendered at the lowest tender level.
Yep.
So
I don't think you said that while we were recording.
okay, so basically the Vikings tendered him. He was a restricted free agent, which means the Vikings had the right of first refusal. They tendered him at the lowest level, which means any other team can talk to him and negotiate with him without tampering or breaking any rules, and they can sign him to, it wouldn't be a full-on deal, it would be an offer sheet. And then that offer sheet would get sent to the Vikings. And it could be for anything. It could be 1 year, $5 million, or it could be 10 years, $200 million. It could be anything. And if the Vikings see that offer sheet and they say, okay, we actually do want Ivan Pace and we're good with this deal, we'll sign you to that. All they have to do is say yeah, we'll do that deal. Or if they don't want to do that deal, if they're like, all right, some other team is offering you more money than we would want to, they just say no, and then Ivan Pace goes to that other team. Now, when you tender players, sometimes there's compensation attached to that. So if another team offers your player a contract and you say, I don't want to get that contract, sometimes depending on what level you tender that player at, the other team has to send you a draft pick or something like that. The level they tendered Ivan Pace at was low enough that there would not be any compensation. But there's a really good chance Ivan Pace will be back with the Vikings this year on like a $3.5 million deal.
So it's pretty interesting how that's shaking out too, because like 2 years ago, we were sitting in this exact spot, high-fiving after he made some big sack and
he
forced
got
a fumble.
The game-winning interception.
The interception. That's
against the Raiders, yeah.
So like he was this super promising player, and he's had a little bit of a decline, and that's okay. That happens in the NFL. Some other players that we've already mentioned but really haven't talked about with restructures, Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, and Byron Murphy. I don't think we've really talked about any of those three yet. And you mentioned this to me the other day. I think with all three of them, or at least maybe Justin Jefferson and Darrisaw, the players weren't even really involved in the restructuring conversation. It was just kind of an exercise that the organization put out there, like, nah, we can do this with your contract. It's in the language of your contract, and we can execute this. I felt like you explained that to me really well. I need you to re-explain that to me again.
So this will kind of go back to if we do splice in this little 5-minute explanation into the episode. So this might be a rehash, but basically a team can go to a player that has enough years left on their contract, and they can say, hey, your base salary for this year was supposed to be, let's just throw out a fake number, $10 million. What we're actually going to do is make your base salary the minimum, so $1 million. But that other $9 million you're still going to get. We're just going to change the name of that money to a signing bonus. And when you do that, you can spread out those other millions into the rest of the years that are still left on that player's contract. So rather than getting 17 game checks divided out between $10 million, they get right now in March one check for $9 million because it's a signing bonus. And then throughout the season, their game checks would be reflective of $1 million, their base salary. Mm-hmm. And so what that does for the cap, when we say, the Vikings are $50 million over the cap, if they were to do that whole $9 million thing, that would put them over the cap by only $41 million, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. And if they do that with enough players, then they can quickly get under the cap without shorting anybody any money, without cutting anybody, without, doing anything nefarious. But the risk then goes to the team, because then that player's cap number in the future years is higher because you have spread out that signing bonus. It's almost interesting enough for a lot of people to care about, but it's definitely boring enough for most people not to care about. But either way, it's a tool that I think really any professional sports team with a salary cap can use to basically fudge the numbers in a very legal and non-nefarious way. Everybody still gets paid the amount that they should get paid. It's just how those dollars look and how they sit under the salary cap.
So I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
Number 1, do you think that the Vikings post Kwesi are handling the salary cap and all of this well? Because the Vikings are notorious now for not hiring a new GM, going with Rob Brzezinski. It's a hard name to say. Rob Brzezinski, who's like the president of football operations or something like that, I guess. Like, that's his official title. I don't know. But they were pretty, like, convinced, and I think this was, I don't know if it was ownership or what, but it sounds like ownership and other stakeholders were like, no, we're not going to hire a GM until after the draft.
Yeah, the ownership, yep.
Do you think that the handling of everything so far has been good? Let's start with that, because I need to look up one other thing really quick while you answer that question.
So far, I mean, there haven't been too many opportunities publicly for fans to know, oh, Brzezinski's doing a really good job, or, oh, he's doing terribly. We haven't had the draft yet. We don't know exactly how the draft is going to work, if it's going to be where Brzezinski is the true interim GM, so he's the one. The way I understand NFL GMs to work is they have scouting departments and coaches and everything, and when they do something like make a draft pick, they may take insight from everybody, scouting, coaching, everything, and then ultimately they're the ones to make the decision to say, yes, I am going to trade up from the 11th pick to the 10th pick, and yes, I am going to draft J.J. McCarthy. And I'm doing that because I feel like it's a good idea and all the information I have from everybody else. But in that scenario, the head coach could say, like I do not want this dude. Do not draft Kellen Mond. And then the GM says, no, you know what? It's the 3rd round. I'm going to draft Kellen Mond.
Screw it.
And I don't know if that is the way Rob Brzezinski's role is working right now. I think he is being given that kind of end-all be-all power by the owners right now. And he very well may be hired as the full-on GM after the draft when the Vikings ownership says that they're going to then look for a new GM. But for all we know, it is like a collaboration between Rob Brzezinski, Kevin O'Connell, the offensive and defensive coordinators, maybe an ownership. I don't know how that's working. But as far as we know right now, it's not like he's come out and traded away Justin Jefferson for a 7th round pick. Like, immediately we would be like, Rob Brzezinski's terrible. Like, what are you freaking doing? Like, or he hasn't, signed a 35-year-old running back to a $50 million deal. Like, he hasn't done anything egregious. It's like, oh my gosh, the draft will be very telling. And honestly, free agency. We're almost 12 hours into free agency at the time of recording right here. I say free agency, it's the tampering period. And the Vikings have made one signing of a player that wasn't for the Vikings already in, oh crap, what's his name? I already forgot his name. Pierre. James Pierre? Is that who it was?
Something like that, yeah.
Man, we really should know that, because that's like the biggest piece of news that's happened for the Vikings today. So yeah, to answer your question, it's too early to tell if Rob Brzezinski's doing a good job. I will say he was put in this role because he's been with the Vikings for something like 27, 28 years, and he's always been highly touted as someone who is an expert on manipulating the cap and working player contracts. And as far as I understand, no matter who the GM has been throughout his entire tenure, Brzezinski's, Rick Spielman and Brzezinski would work together. They would say, yes, we do want to sign Kirk Cousins. It's going to take a guaranteed deal. And then together, Brzezinski and the GM would sit down and figure out how to work the cap in a way that they can maximize the value of the cap dollars. So and this is why he's the interim GM. If anybody is going to be able to make the best deals whenever the team decides they want to sign a player, it's Rob Brzezinski. So if they are restructuring people, when the Vikings say they've restructured TJ Hawkinson, as of right now, everything I know about Brzezinski, I'm totally on board. And I know maybe it costs a little bit more in the long run, but it was a good deal. And that tells me the coaches wanted Hawkinson there as well, because they could have just said, yeah, we're just going to cut this guy. When they let Jalen Naylor walk, that means Brzezinski has said, yeah, we're not going to pay him $12 million a year. So good for the Raiders for doing that. But had the Vikings paid him $5 million and he would have agreed to it, I'd have been heck yeah on board. But yeah, as of now, I think Vikings fans should be comfortable with Brzezinski running the team. And time will tell if that's accurate.
Can I put you on the spot?
Do
a
it.
Little bit?
Do it after I just talked for 8 minutes on it.
I don't disagree with you at all about Rob Brzezinski, and I think time will tell, like you just said. And I'm excited. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of experience, and I think, honestly, I'm optimistic with him. I think he'll prove that he belongs as an NFL GM, and he'll pretty easily merge into that position. I don't expect anybody else to take that role within the Vikings organization right now. But I want to go a little bit of a different direction with salary cap, maybe one that we hadn't even really talked about before.
Okay.
And if you don't want to talk about this,
let's go.
I get it.
I'm no expert, but I'll give my thoughts and opinions.
And it's not even really statistical. It's a little bit more cultural. Jalen Rose, NBA player, basketball player, who's an NBA ESPN personality. He came out this week saying, and it's Monday, but I mean, I think it was like today or yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that. He came out and made a claim, a pretty bold claim, in my opinion, that the salary cap in African American dominated sports like basketball and football,
I know what you're going to say,
is a residual of slavery. I read that headline and I didn't know what to do with that, and I don't know, is that fair game? Should we talk about that, or should we
I mean, there's been a few times in my memory of sports that the idea of slavery has come up. And I'll just start off right off the bat. You and I are 35-year-old white dudes.
Context is important.
In Iowa.
Yep. Drinking beer.
In upper middle class families that have grown up in upper middle class, maybe even better families. So take everything we're about to say with all of that knowledge. We should not be commenting on slavery. However, I'm thinking back to a time, I think it might have been Adrian Peterson had some quick quote that was something to do with contracts and slavery, and I think he even quickly walked back on that. Somebody can comment and remind us exactly what he said. I don't know what who is it? Jalen Rose? Is that
Jalen Rose? Yeah.
I don't know what his full quote said. I don't know what the conversation was like. I don't know his intent.
His comments basically said the salary capping the salary of players, period, I think, but specifically African American players, is a residual of slavery. Is what he's been saying in the last week.
That's tough. I will say, I think the intent of the salary cap is to level the playing field of the NFL and keep competition as fair as possible, because theoretically every team has the same amount of money to spend and the same rules as far as restricting number of players on a team. There's no rule saying that a certain position I guess what I'm saying, there's no rule saying that a quarterback has to make more than a punter. There's no rule saying that a punter can't make $100 million a year. That'd be super dumb. And the Browns will probably do it sometime. But there's also definitely no rule or regulation or even unwritten rule saying a white player should make this percentage more than a black player. You could argue, I mean, I think the league has shown that it is very colorblind. It has no problem employing the biggest, fastest, strongest players, regardless of their ethnicity or upbringing or anything like that. So I'll just say I disagree that the salary cap is a residual form of slavery. You're talking guys are being paid very well. They're very well compensated, and at least in 2026, I don't think we're seeing owners or GMs or anyone having an issue paying anyone based off of their ethnicity.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with that, and I would actually take you one further, and I would say I think the NFL has the best structure in terms of salary cap and anything involving player compensation. I will admit I don't know a ton about baseball, hockey, basketball at the professional level. I don't know how all of that is being governed and how all of that is being restricted. I do know that basketball has a salary cap. The NBA has a salary cap. I think the NHL also has a salary cap.
I think so, yeah. I think baseball is pretty wide open.
I think baseball is pretty wide open. I think the MLB is like basically the Wild West of pro sports at this point when it comes to player compensation. And I'll quote Moneyball, but only for a second.
No, you're fine, man.
You got the rich teams and you got the poor teams and you got 50 feet of crap. And then there's us. That's Billy Bean's line from
talking about the Rays, right?
The Oakland A's. The Oakland A's, who are now going to Vegas.
Yeah.
They've abandoned ship on the Oakland area. But all of that aside, I think the NFL offers the most structure, at least that I'm familiar with, and we're an NFL podcast. Mm-hmm. We do not follow the other sports. I don't know how the NBA or MLB or the NHL does their stuff.
I know the NBA, there's rules about you can pay homegrown players you drafted either more or give them contracts longer than any other team is able to offer them. There's a ton of rules. I feel like the NFL has a very fair structure as far as
and I like the structure. I like the structure, and I think it's okay for right now in the NFL. And don't get me started on college sports and in
NIL and everything.
Yeah, like the that. NIL and all that. There's actually a really interesting roundtable that the president held. Nick Saban was pretty vocal in that roundtable with the president this last week, which I thought was fascinating. And I listened to a few sound bites from that roundtable, which was, again, just kind of eye-opening and like interesting. I'll listen to this. I think college sports has a lot of work to do. Mm-hmm. In this department, and if they're gonna monetize what they do, I'm all for it. I love college sports. Our team, our college team,
Northern Iowa basketball,
UNI basketball, we're going to the big dance, first time in 10 years, and they won the conference tournament as a 6th seed, first team. I just got to take a minute to brag on this because this is fun. First team ever in conference history to play for 4 days and win the whole thing.
That's crazy.
They're the first team ever. It was pretty special. This group of guys, I followed this team. I had season tickets 4 years ago before I moved back here. I love this team. I watched this team pretty, like, as soon as Vikings football is done, I'm checking into UNI basketball. Like that's my next team, January through March, pretty much, and usually by this time in March they're done playing because the conference tournament is over. But to see them continue to play is exciting, and I was super excited on Sunday when they won the conference championship. It was awesome. They got the automatic bid to the big tournament, the big dance. They're going
probably be like a 11 or 12 seed or something like that. Maybe a little bit.
It seems
worse.
It seems optimistic to be 11 or 12. I could see them being a play-in 11 seed. They do that play-in round. I could see them being that or slightly lower. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But anyways, college basketball, college sports in general, football too, has a lot to figure out with NIL, and they're in this weird interim phase where it's just like, we don't know. Like, I don't think the NCAA knows. I don't think schools know. I don't think the players know. I think 10 years from now we'll be sitting here with a little bit of a clearer structure of this is what it looks like for kids to go to college, play sports, earn money to play sports while they're in college, knowing that only a very, very small percentage of them will go on to play professionally.
Well, and I think eventually there will be some form of a salary cap, some version of a salary cap in college sports.
Correct. Yes.
And I don't know what that'll look like, and there will obviously have to be different rules for, the biggest levels of college football versus the smallest levels of college water polo. But at some level, there's going to have to be some rules. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it's a sport by sport thing. So, friend of the show, Blue, he commented on my Facebook post when I was like, yeah, you and I, woo woo, yeah, they made it. You know, they're going into the tournament. He was quick to point out his North Dakota State Bison
they also won their
were conference champions and got the automatic bid. And so it's a sport by sport thing because North Dakota State isn't Division I in everything.
Well, and they just hit the news for they're going to jump up to football in Division I.
That's true. They were one AA or FCS
and just dominated for the last decade.
Well, it's been
plus
North Dakota State and South Dakota State, which is my parents' alma mater. Those two have dominated FCS football for probably basically since we graduated college until now. So I think college sports are in for a really interesting ride, and there may be some changing of the guard in terms of like Division I, Division II football. You've got FBS, FCS, right? And we're not really a college football podcast, so we're not going to maybe spend a ton of time digging into that. But like, I don't know, this whole concept of compensating athletes for playing a game is permeating not just pro sports. I mean, that's been established for 100 years before we were even alive. But now it's permeating the college game, and it could even get down to the high school game where I'm a coach, and that could affect me down the road. Like, well, shoot, now we got to figure out how to play these high school kids for playing these games, you know, like putting their bodies on the line and, you know, showing up every day for practice just to go out and, you know, get money for ticket revenue and whatever for their school. You know, that's maybe down the line. I don't know.
To get back to your original question, and at the risk of getting myself in trouble for whatever reason, I don't know. There definitely, throughout the history of, you know, organized sports, there definitely has been racism involved in every sport throughout history. And certainly racism is not completely gone as far as the world is concerned, and definitely as far as sports is concerned. However, I think maybe the least racist and most fair aspect of at least the NFL would be the salary cap. I mean, it's the most unbiased, thing. It keeps everybody honest. And I admit I have not listened to and heard the full quote with the full context of Jalen Rose's comments there, and I should go back to it. But without diving deep into research and everything like that, I feel like the salary cap of all things is the least worrisome part of the NFL. It's just something that needs to be manipulated and figured out for every team at every position every year, no matter what. It's just every dollar has to be accounted for, and I don't think racism or certainly slavery comes into that idea.
I don't necessarily disagree with you for all of the reasons you've said, and we definitely kind of got off on a rabbit trail.
I think it's good to talk about stuff like that, though.
But I would say, like, too, if we are going to put a salary cap on NFL franchises, the question then remains, what can these franchises spend their money on? If they're making more money than other teams, if I can't spend my money on players, if I'm capped at $300 million, let's say, if that's my salary cap, which I think the NFL salary cap is pretty darn close to that.
2026, it's like 305 or something like that.
If I can't spend really any more than that, what can I spend my money on? If you tell me I can spend $300 million on players, but I have if I have $1 billion, let's say, I'm terrible with math and terrible with numbers, but let's say I have $1 billion, what can I spend my money on? Well, I can improve my stadium. I can improve my management staff. I can improve X, Y, and Z about everything else. I can bring in the best coaching that I possibly can. I can keep Brian Flores around and make him the highest paid defensive coordinator of anybody, because there's no salary cap on coaches.
That's the thing, yeah. As far as NFL teams are concerned, the salary cap only pertains to rostered players. If teams can spend whatever they want on stadiums, on practice facilities, on dining services for their players, on whether or not they have their own plane for players to travel in. Like, teams can spend anything on just about everything else. It's just to level the literal playing field. The salary cap applies to players, and who knows? I mean, I don't think it's an issue now, but if it ever became an issue, I could see maybe extending the salary cap to coaches as well. Because you're right. I think I don't know for sure, but from things we've heard over the years, it sounds like Brian Flores is very well compensated, and he's definitely one of, if not the highest paid coordinator in the league. And for all we know, which we don't have any details, but for all we know, there's a chance Brian Flores makes more dollars per year than some head coaches in the league, and that would be kind of crazy. But still, it's not crazy to think that a team that values their defensive coordinator enough would say, I don't care if the Titans are paying their head coach $3 million a year. If it costs $4 million a year to keep Brian Flores and keep our team as competitive as possible, we're going to do it. And of course, I just totally made up all of those numbers. But yeah, the salary cap only applies to players. And I'm a fan of leagues that make the playing field as even as possible. It's one of the reasons I'll never be a baseball fan, is that if the Dodgers have $1 billion a year to spend on players and the Twins only allocate $100 million a year to spend on players, you're never going to have a chance if you're the Twins, and again, I just made those numbers up, but it seems like that too. Like, there's a reason the Yankees have upwards of 30 championships. Like, they're notorious for spending all the money, and at least in the NFL, every team has as much opportunity as far as they can control, as far as ownership and GMs and stuff like that, to field a good team every year as every other team. It's just, you have to get lucky with draft picks, and you have to have a really good scouting department, and you have to do the work to put the best team on the field, not just buy the best team on the field.
You know what I like about beer?
What's
That was a hard corner turn.
We're hard right there.
Woof. Hard corner turn. You know what I like about beer, though, is I can go to the store and I can get a 4-pack, 6-pack, sometimes even a 12-pack for roughly the same price. Roughly. It's going to fluctuate a little bit. Like some of the better beers, you're going to pay a little bit more. And
some of those 4-packs are $25.
I have never purchased a 4-pack that's worth $25. Never in my life. This 4-pack that I bought tonight was not that expensive.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about beer. This was $14, $15. And this beer was really, really good.
Really good.
And there's no salary cap on beer. We'll just land the plane right there. It was a little bumpy on the approach, but we landed it. There's no salary cap on beer, my friends. And this beer was really good.
Oh man, I really liked this beer. It's definitely a heavy hitter, hazy IPA.
Yep.
Usually after 2 16-ounce beers, I might start to get to the point where I'm like, all right, my cheeks are a little warm right now. This one, while I am perfectly fine to drive home here in a little bit, I definitely am noticing more this beer than I do most other beers. So, and it tastes great. After 2 of these, I'm still going to wake up tomorrow, and go to work and feel perfectly fine. Would I have 2 more? No. I think 2 is perfect at this weight.
We'll stop here.
If we're just talking about flavor, I'd have 10 more. But the content, you're just going to be more mindful of it. And you just have to know that about beers.
It's like a Jalen Redmond thing. Like, man, he played great this last season.
Where are you going?
You could pay him a ton. You're not going to pay him a ton.
Well, I don't have to pay him anything.
He's young. We're going to pay him less because
he's like
young.
26. As far as a guy that's looking at a second contract.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're going to pay him less because he's young. That's what you said a little bit ago. We're going to drink less because it's good and it hits the spot. And that's what we needed to do.
Yeah. All right, man. If people want to keep the conversation going, how can they reach out to us?
Hit us up anywhere, really. Send us an email, theskolhop@gmail.com. That's a great place to start. The comment section in YouTube.
Yes, that's great.
That's another section that
if you think we are idiots, comment.
Yeah,
we'd love to hear that.
We'll do our best to interact with you. We both work during the day, but we can multitask.
Yeah.
We can multitask. That's fine. If you're not YouTube or email inclined, which I don't know who isn't these days, we're on Spotify. We're on
Apple Podcasts.
Really any other podcast platform, period, Apple or otherwise. Hit us up on any of those. We'd love to chat. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Those are kind of the big 4 that we're on. Find us on there too. Everywhere you go, the Skol Hop. That's where we're at.
Yep. Check out our website and definitely our TeePublic store. We've got a little bit of merch out there too. So,
including the coffee mugs from earlier.
All right, man. This was a long one, but a really good episode and a really good beer, I really thought.
Yeah, it might be the best episode yet.
Skol.
Skol.